Is language acquired? No. Are you sure? Some slides consist of extracts, excerpts, figures from Language Acquisition and Language Learning, Assimilação Natural, Estudo Formal, by Ricardo Schutz. Is language acquired? Do we learn a language? What is acquired? What does it mean? Is it language or communication that is acquired? Stephen Krashen's hypotheses. Acquisition learning. Monitor. Input. Effective filter. Natural order. A quote of his: language acquisition does not require extensive use of conscious grammatical rules and does not require tedious drills. Do you agree with that? We'll focus on acquisition learning. Both. It is one hypothesis. The definition: language acquisition is a natural and subconscious process. Natural and subconscious process. Language acquisition é uma acumulação natural e subconsciente processo. When I wrote this the first time, I wrote language acquisition is a process of natural and subconscious accumulation. Language acquisition é processo de acumulação natural e subconsciente. Accumulation of what? Language? Information? Sounds? Accumulação de quê? Linguagem? Informação? Sons? Language learning is a conscious effort in the development of the language by error correction and rules, grammar rules, for instance. Language learning é esforço consciente no desenvolvimento do idioma por correção de erros e regras gramáticas, por exemplo. Is language acquisition only subconscious? What is subconscious and what is conscious? This graph came from the paper referenced at the beginning. It basically lists learning and acquisition. Acquisition focuses on communication? I totally agree. That is a key. Meaningful interaction? What does that mean? Does that mean just teaching? Or does that mean learning? subconscious process. Is that totally true? Can there be some conscious processing in the acquisition of language? The premises on teaching. Does this affect learning? Como isso afeta a aprendizagem? How do children learn first language? Como as crianças aprendem seus idioma nativo? Teaching is a conscious effort. If done effectively, the learner will acquire information easily. Enseñar é esforço consciente. Se feito efetivamente, o aluno adquiriria informações facilmente. A child learns by other children, subconsciously most of the time. Subconsciously most of the time. But that is because of repetition. Crianças aprendem como outras crianças. Inconscientemente, na maior das vezes, por causa da repetição. How do those who study alone acquire a language? Como aqueles que estudam sozinhos aprender? As stated, conscious study for the most part. However, there is some subconscious and some noticing taking place. Eles estudaram conscientemente pela maior parte, porém, há algumas aprendizagens conscientes e percepção ocorrendo. I agree, teaching methods should change. This is a product of comprehensible input, which will be discussed in another video, along with transfer students. Transfer students? Yes, we didn't cover everything here. This will make acquiring learning a language easier. In its purest sense, language acquisition is learned. In its ability to communicate that is acquired and takes place before learning. The ability to communicate. Yes, you saw that in the graph. Focuses on communication. What happens with the accumulation? What does this mean, subconscious? We learn words. But if we can't use the words, we have to have meaningful input, meaningful interaction, repetition. So, does the child not start noticing things? Is he making awareness? Is he learning? Or is it just words coming to him? Concordo que o método de ensino deve mudar. Este é produto de compreensão comprehensible que vou discutir em outro vídeo, como os alunos transferidos. Isso vai facilitar a aquisição, aprendizado de idioma mais fácil. No seu sentido mais puro, a aquisição de linguagem é aprendida. É a capacidade de comunicação que ele acquirida ocorreu antes do aprendido. These are some forms of acquiring a language. You acquire sounds and vocabulary. You're able to start communicating. They may be a form of self-taught. Are you acquiring vocabulary, or are you learning it? What? You had to learn vocabulary in school, rote repetition, etc.? Acquiring or learning? Or is it words similar to vocabulary? Do the words have meaning? I am sure this is debatable. You are building your vocabulary, but worth are words if you can only say them and not use them. Again, communication. Is communication language? Estas são formas de aquisição. Você adquire sons e vocabulário. Você é capaz de começar a se comunicar. Eles podem ser uma forma de autodidata. Está adquirindo vocabulário ou aprendendo isso. Estou certo que isso é discutível. Está aumentando seu vocabulário, mas o que vale são palavras. Se você puder apenas dizê-las e não usá-las. How do we acquire language? Repetition, noticing, comprehensible input. Noticing, comprehensible input, repetition. Same thing, right? Comprehensible input, repetition, noticing. The same thing. Yes, it is true. Does it matter the order? No. The order doesn't matter, but it is still noticing repetition. How much noticing? That doesn't mean there's a lot of noticing taking place. It could be a little bit, it could be a lot. It all depends. Study? We acquire a language by studying? Trial and error, mistakes? How does a child learn? That's a very good question. All of these apply to acquiring and learning. True. They all apply to acquiring as well. How does a child learn? A child learns by meaningful interaction. When a parent teaches a child to say spoon, fork, does he know which one it is? He is shown, assimilation. So he's learning. A spoon is something specific. What about when a child is asking the parent for their bottle? Do all grown-ups understand what's taking place? So, have they acquired the language? Does that mean that meaningful interaction requires that the other person is more knowledged? What about two children? Ride a bike. Let's ride a bike. Ride bike. thought-provoking. So the child can learn what the bike is and eventually learn to ride the bike. But he learns the language, bike and this. He's acquiring vocabulary. I agree. But is he learning the language? Is he acquiring a language by only knowing words? Meaningful interaction is definitely key. All of these apply to the conscious and subconscious. Acquiring is both subconscious and conscious. It's not just one. This is not to say that the definitions above require grammar. You do not need to have the grammar. You learn, you do acquire. I agree. But there is some consciousness in that as well. But not to the point of teaching rules and grammar. Language is a result of teaching or learning and acquiring. O idioma é resultado do ensino ou da aprendizagem e da aquisição. Communication is the result of acquiring. Communication is a result of acquiring. A comunicação é resultado da aquisição. Communication is the most important part of language. We didn't say language acquiring. We didn't say language learning. Communication is the most important part. You can acquire sufficient amount of words to start forming comprehensible, meaningful interaction. Comunicação é a parte mais importante da linguagem. It requires comprehensible input. Requer entrada comprehensible. It requires meaningful interaction. Requer interação significativa. It does not require grammar and rules. No requer gramática e regras. However, proper and efficient communication may. Porém, para se comunicar de forma adequada e eficiente, pode exigir. Think about what you've heard. Is language acquired or is it learned? Se o idioma é acquired ou não depende do seu ponto de vista. Whether language is acquired or not depends on your point of view. Thank you very much. It's just to inspire thoughts. They continue to exist, and they always will. But we do need to change the teaching methods. And this will be talked in another video.